What is up, guys? In this video, I'm going to take you through the easiest and the best answers for the Show Me Tell Me vehicle safety questions. Watch this video, save it and bookmark it so you can spend more time on lessons driving and less time on theory. The questions are split into two parts, the Tell Me section and the Show Me section. The Tell Me section comes at the beginning of your test before you go driving. The Show Me question will come at some point midway through your test. You do need to answer it while driving, but if you can't find the button, you can pull over, find it, drive on again, and then answer it while you're moving. Does that make sense? If you've got any questions, stick them in the comments section and I'll be there with you to answer them. While you're there, like the video so YouTube recommends it to other people like you, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can get all of our latest videos in your face. Let's go through the questions. Starting with the Tell Me questions. Number one, tell me how you would check your brakes are working before starting a journey. There's two parts to this answer. Part one, your brakes shouldn't feel spongy or slack when you press them. A bit like your accelerator pedal. If you press the accelerator, it's kind of floppy, there's no resistance there. If you press the brakes, it should feel firm. You don't have to say spongy or slack. You can just say anything that makes it sound like you know what you're talking about. Part two of this answer, when you set off slowly, test the brakes gently and the car shouldn't pull to one side. Quick recap, I'm going to test my brakes and they shouldn't feel spongy, slack, floppy or gooey. They should feel firm and strong, or replace those words with anything else you like that does the same job at describing it. Then I'm going to set off, test my brakes and the car shouldn't pull to one side. Question two, tell me where you'd find the information for the recommended tyre pressures in this car and how tyre pressures should be checked. This one's really easy. The information for the recommended tyre pressures in any car is in the manual. And check the tyres with a tyre pressure gauge. That's it. You can also find the tyre pressures in most cars if you open the door and check the door seal. Not in this car though, this isn't my car. And sometimes it's inside the fuel filler cap, but let's keep it simple. It's in the manual, tyre pressure gauge, done. Question three, tell me how you check your headrest is correctly adjusted so it provides the best protection in the event of a crash. Easy. Back of my headrest needs to be in line with my ears and eyes. Middle of the headrest, middle of my head, done. Yeah, this one's correctly adjusted. Question four, tell me how you check the tyres to make sure they have sufficient tread and their general condition is safe to use on the road. This is a really badly written question. The answer doesn't quite match what the question's asking for. What they want you to say is the tyres should have 1.6 millimeters of tread, which you learned on your theory test, and their general condition is safe to use on the road because there are no cuts and bulges in the side of the tyre. And let's just keep it super simple. On the gov.uk website, there's so much to all of these answers, but condense it down and just get the points that you need to get across. The examiners hear these questions all day, every day. When you start answering and it sounds like you know what you're talking about, they'll normally say, yeah, great, thanks, and move on. Question five, tell me how you check the headlights and taillights are working. This is a really easy one, but firstly, what are taillights? Most people don't learn this on their driving lessons. So when you're driving at night and you turn on your dipped headlights, two dim red lights go on the back of your car, not brake lights, tail lights. So to answer this one, it's really easy. Firstly, I'll turn on my dipped headlights, then get out and check the front two white lights and the back two red lights. Done. If you're not sure where the dipped headlights are in your car, it's super simple. It's always the same symbol. Find the jellyfish. Question six now. Tell me how you'd know if there was a problem with your anti-lock braking system, or ABS for short. Easy, quick answer. It would come up on my dashboard. The examiner might then ask what color the light is, and you're going to say red, green, blue, pink. It's amber, but yellow or orange is also an acceptable answer. Here's how to find the ABS warning light or any of the other warning lights if you want to see if they're working. Car's off, switch the ignition on, twist the key, and it comes up on the dashboard. It will go off after a couple of seconds. Question seven, tell me how you check the direction indicators are working. I'm going to press the hazard warning lights, which turns on all of my indicators, get out and check each bulb. This is the symbol for the hazard warning lights. It might be in a different place in your car, but it's always the same sign. Question eight, tell me how you check the brake lights are working on this car. How do you turn the brake lights on? You press the brake pedal. But if you're pressing the brake pedal, you can't get out and check the brake lights. So on this one, you're going to press the brakes and ask someone to help you, or if you're parked behind a shiny vehicle or a shop window, you can check the reflections. Question nine. This one is, tell me how you check the power steering's working before starting a journey. And this one's probably the longest, most convoluted, unnecessarily complicated answer on the whole list. Get this. If the steering becomes heavy, the system may not be working properly. Before starting a journey, 2 simple checks can be made. Simple? Doesn't sound simple so far. Gentle pressure on the steering wheel maintained while the engine is started should result in a slight but noticeable movement as the system begins to operate. Alternatively, turning the steering wheel just after a minute. Wait a minute. I'm a driving instructor. This doesn't even make sense to me. Here's how you check your power steering. Engine's off. Steering's heavy. It's not locked. It's just really hard to move. Engine's on. Steering's light. If that doesn't happen when you switch the engine on, it's not working. That's the answer. Why they gotta complicate it? Just make it simple for us. Well, that's what I'm here for. Next question, number 10. Tell me how you'd switch on the rear fog light and tell me when you would use it. I've got a really good way for people to remember when you should use your fog lights. It was on your theory test, but you've forgotten that now, for sure. Usain Bolt, 100 meters. Use it when you can't see more than 100 meters down the road. Classic answer, when it's foggy. Nope. It might be cutting down with rain, snow, you can't see more than 100 meters, turn your fog lights on. They're not there to help you see further down the road, they're there to help other people see you and not crash into you. Use them. Side note, this one's good. Funniest answer I've ever had to this question is from Nora. Shout out Nora. If you haven't seen her video, click here. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, trust me, click it. Oh yeah, how do you switch on the fog lights though? Well, firstly, as a safety feature, you can't turn on the fog lights in most cars without first turning on the dipped headlights. So you're gonna turn on the dipped headlights, which remember is the jellyfish. Then you're gonna find the fog light button and press that. Fog lights are the jellyfish with a crossed out tail. Easy to remember. Fun fact, it's not a requirement for cars to have a front fog light, so some cars just don't have them, which is why in this question, they're only asking you about the rear one. Rear fog lights, amber. Front fog lights, green. And welcome to the last tell me question that you can answer inside the car. Tell me how you switch your headlights from dip beam to main beam and how you know main beam is switched on. We already know how to turn on dip beam, it's the jellyfish. So turn on dip beam and then in all cars it's in the same place. Push that stick away from you and we'll know that main beam switched on because we get a blue warning light on the dashboard. Fun facts and extra information, if you don't have your dipped headlights on already, let's turn them off. You can't turn on and keep on your main beam lights. That's a safety feature. If it's not dark, you don't need them. Also, you've probably driven around and seen people flash their headlights at you. How do they do that? What do they mean? They probably mean thanks or they're giving you way, but that's not the official meaning. The official meaning of a flashed headlight is to warn someone of your presence. So until you pass your test, that's all you're gonna use it for. After you've passed your test, that's still all you're going to use it for. But if you need to know how to flash someone with your headlights, you're using main beam and you pull instead of push. The last 3 tell me questions are outside the car. You'll have to find the bonnet release catch and identify some stuff in the engine bay. Follow me. Here's the bonnet release catch on this car. If you don't know how to open the bonnet or you're struggling on the car that you've brought to your driving test, you can ask your instructor or someone to help you. Question 12, tell me how you check the engine has sufficient coolant. Here's the engine coolant and I'll check that the levels are between the minimum and the maximum markings. Question 13, tell me how you check that you have a safe level of hydraulic brake fluid. Firstly, I'll identify the brake fluid reservoir. It has the universal symbol for brakes on the top, which is this. Then I'll check that the levels are between the minimum and maximum markings. And lastly, question 14, tell me how you check the engine has sufficient oil. Firstly, I'll identify the dipstick, which on this car is here. It should have the symbol of an oil can on the top. Then I'd explain that I would take out the dipstick and wipe it off. Then put it back in and take it out and check that the oil comes up between the minimum and maximum markings. It's also useful to note that some really modern cars don't have a dipstick. You'll only be able to check the oil on the dashboard. And that's it for tell me questions. Okay, we've smashed through the tell me questions. Let's try the show me questions. There are only 7 of these and they're all specific to your car. I'm going to show you where the buttons are and what they look like in this car so that when you're in your car, you can find them again. The show me questions all start with when it's safe to do so. It's normally always safe to press the button, but it takes the urgency out of the question so that you don't panic, don't rush and get it done in your own time. Firstly, when it's safe to do so, show me how you demist the front windscreen. In most modern cars, there is a button that does it all for you. What that's doing is blasting hot air-conditioned air at the front windscreen. If you're in an older car which doesn't have that button, turn the air up to max, turn it to hot, and if you've got air conditioning, turn that on too. Next, when it's safe to do so, show me how you demist the rear windscreen. Again, it's just one button. That one. What you'll notice is that in the back windscreen, there are lines. Those black lines heat up when you press this button, and what that does is it clears condensation and mist. Next question, when it's safe to do so, show me how you wash and clean the front windscreen. Usually on the right stick, usually just pull it. When it's safe to do so, wash and clean the rear windscreen. Usually on the right stick, push. When it's safe to do so, turn on your dipped headlights. We learned how to do that in the first half of the video. Nice and simple. Turn it on and turn it off. You don't have to wait for the examiner to say thanks or give you a prompt. Once you've performed the action, turn it off and keep concentrating on the road. Next, really easy one. When it's safe to do so, open and close your window. Done. Last one. Here's the fun one. When it's safe to do so, sound your horn. This car's got a rubbish horn. Now we've answered all of the vehicle safety questions, both tell me and show me. Save this video so that you can come back to it and keep revising. While you're there, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give the video a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Drive safe.